What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back. My name's Tino. I'm a barber. I've been cutting hair for about 15 years. I've been a barber full time for about 4 now, and I want to give you guys a more complete guide of the ways to keep your hair from falling out. So these are 8 ways to keep it from falling out, and then I added a bonus 4 things to do if you're past that point and there's no return for you. So we'll start. We're going in order of intensity. So make sure that you do the first 4 regardless. So up to nutritional supplements, you should be doing these first 4 things regardless. The first thing, number 1, is take care of your scalp. So your scalp health. Shampoo, scrub your scalp. Shampoo, scrub your scalp to make sure that you're not having any buildup accumulating on the skin on top of your hair, because that's not good for it. It'll clog up the pores. It will keep your hair from growing. So you don't want to make sure it's not dirty. Other thing I learned about scalp health is that we actually need to do an exfoliation. So we need to have some type of scrub that we exfoliate our scalps with. And that's something I didn't think about, guys. I didn't know this. I was watching a video and found out about that. So just like you need to do like a facial scrub, you need to do the same thing with your scalp from time to time. So not as frequently as the shampoo or scrub, but eventually you do need to exfoliate your scalp. Number 2, the second thing is scalp therapy. So that's where we're talking about starting to bring more blood flow into the skin on the scalp. So therapy, we mean massage and dermarollers. So those are the 2 main ways of manually stimulating the scalp. So massaging it, and then also using a dermaroller. So a dermaroller is a device. It's a small device with a bunch of needles on it, on a wheel. So you got different lengths of needles and you got different sizes of needles, different gauges. So you roll those against your skin on your scalp, and they poke little holes. So they poke holes deep enough to damage the tissue, but it's kind of like exercising, right? So you damage the tissue, but it grows back stronger. So it's kind of that same concept. You want to damage the tissue a little bit to where it stimulates the growth factors there and keeps everything stimulated. So you do that, massaging it physically with your hands or with a massager, scalp massager, to increase the blood flow there. So I would recommend doing these 2 as well as the next one. So we're talking about essential oils. So we got the most popular ones, the ones that they say may work better than Minoxidil. So Minoxidil is further down our list, but that is an over-the-counter drug that people use for hair retention, for keeping your hair. So those oils include rosemary, peppermint, lavender, and tea tree oil. So those all may work better than Minoxidil. There's a couple studies saying that they do, but I'm not going to quote those right now or add them, but it is possible, and most likely I think that essential oils work better, but with fewer side effects. So I would consider going that route. And then we're also talking about preventing, number 4 on here is preventing damage. So tight hairstyles with a lot of tension, really tight braids, really tight twists or locks, or retwisting your hair too often will cause damage that can make your hair break off. So you don't want your hair to break off. Other things that can make your hair follicles break off are heat. So if you use styling tools that are too hot, you can burn your hair, like it can catch on fire. So styling tools, too much heat, too many times in a row, you can burn your hair with a blow dryer. So beware of how much heat you are putting on your hair. You don't want to cook the follicle. So if part of the hair is still alive, you don't want to cook that. Even if it's not, you don't want to cook it because you could damage the structure of the hair. So keep that in mind. And then friction, and then materials rubbing up against your head, or your hair rubbing against other follicles too much. If you are moving around a lot, if you're really active and you have longer hair, you don't want your hair rubbing against each other. So you want to have something satin. You want to have something that is kind of like a do-rag material that won't create a lot of friction and will allow your hair to retain the moisture and natural oils there without wicking them away. So wicking from cotton and other really absorbent materials is the next thing on the list as far as preventing damage. So prevent damage. So these are the first four. Those are the ones that we all need to do. We need to make sure we're taking care of our scalp, doing scalp therapy, as in massaging, dermarollers, essential oils, making sure that we're using those to stimulate our scalps, keep those working and alive, and then preventing the damage. So preventing tight hairstyles, heat damage, friction, and dryness. And now we're getting into number 5, 6, 7, and 8, which are more intense. So if these first few things aren't keeping your hair as healthy as you'd like, you may need to try supplementing your nutrition. So you may need to add a little bit more protein, because hair is mostly made out of protein called keratin. And then biotin is another supplement that's good for your hair, skin, and nails. So these are things you might want to add. Consider those. Next thing on our list we mentioned earlier is that minoxidil. Minoxidil makes your hair grow. Somehow, people don't really know. It used to be administered orally as a blood pressure medication, but they found out that it grows your hair. They don't really know why it grows your hair, but people used to take it and they get hairy. Over-the-counter use is usually topical, so drops or a foam. You may have heard of Rogaine, so that's what the minoxidil is. If that doesn't work, you may also want to try a light therapy, laser therapy. So light and laser therapy stimulate the cells, and they're supposed to make the cells more active. It says that they make the cells more active and it gives them more energy to do their job correctly. So not just stimulating more blood flow, but somehow the lights and laser, the low intensity laser therapy, stimulate the cells to make them more active and gives them more energy to do their job better. And then there's a finasteride, right? So finasteride blocks DHT. So DHT is what testosterone turns into if you have, let me just read this. So finasteride, it's a type of medication, right? It works by stopping testosterone from turning into another hormone called DHT. So DHT can cause your prostate to grow larger, or it can stop your hair from growing. So finasteride blocks DHT. So that's supposed to prevent hair loss. There are some foods that can also prevent DHT buildup or block DHT. So turmeric is a natural DHT blocking food, and carrots, almonds, bananas, and pumpkin seeds. There are some more on the list, but I'll let you Google those if you are this far down the list. Those are the main things, right? So those are the big 8 things to do to prevent your hair from falling out. But if those things didn't work and you're on the other side of the hill, there are some things you can do to make it look like you're not losing the battle to hair loss. SMP, which is skin micropigmentation. SMP is basically a bunch of little tattoos that go on your scalp to make it look like your hair is full. So you get a bunch of little tattoos underneath your thinning hair, then it makes it look darker, right? They try to make it look as natural as possible. Next thing is like hair implants. They used to call them hair plugs, but they've gotten a lot better at them. You pretty much cut the hair follicle out, and well, the hair plugs were kind of like Barbie doll things, but the hair implants are your own hair, right? So they take the follicles out, typically the back of your neck, or if you got extra hairs that are terminal is the thicker hairs. They'll take those, they'll cut them out of your skin, put them on a little tray, and then drill some holes, and then put the hairs back in the places that they came out of, or in the places where there's not as much hair. So that's pretty much how that part works. So if hair implants don't work, you may have to get a man weave. So if those hair implants don't take and they die, it's kind of like repotting a plant, but they don't work, you may have to get a man weave. So you might have to get some pieces of hair. You might have to glue them to your scalp. We might have to braid them to your scalp. We might have to connect it to your scalp somehow. So man weave, if there's not enough hair to work with for a man weave, you may have to get a whole unit, a man unit. If it's just all the way smooth, bald up there, you might have to get a unit, which is, they used to call them toupees. They used to call them wigs. So You made it down this far of the list. You don't have any hair, won't take. You can't put man weave. You don't have anything to braid it to. You don't have anything to glue it to. You might have to get a whole man unit. But that's the list, guys. Let me know what questions you have. Have conversations in the comments. Help people out. Follow the channel. Subscribe. Like. I appreciate you sticking with me this far. Let me know what questions you have about hair care, hair loss, hair growth, and styles, or even cutting. I'll be here. I'll be available. Let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Thanks.